In this video we'll discuss the clip path property because I'm pretty sure that if you haven't used it before, you're probably a little bit confused about it. So to start off, we've got our local web page, and I'm going to actually inspect this Jumbotron right here. I've zoomed in quite a lot and I've undocked the DevTools by clicking here and choosing the undocked into separate window, so as to be able to actually see everything that's going on in our Jumbotron. And I've also changed the values to percentages, but let's refresh the page so as to get the Jumbotron to its original state. So now I'm going to inspect it again, and we can see the pixel values for our clip path. Okay, so as we said, the clip path itself is just an area that is described and makes everything else outside of that area invisible. So if we simply turn off the clip path, we'll see the full height and width of our Jumbotron. And our Jumbotron's height is 650 pixels at this time. So we are actually, by using the clip path, saying what part of this Jumbotron is going to be visible. So you need to understand that the Jumbotron is 650 pixels high, this area right here, and its width is determined by the width of your browser screen. At this time, it's somewhere around 1920 pixels because I'm using an HD high definition screen, and my browser is set to full width inside Windows. Okay, so let's turn the clip path back on, and we can notice that we've got 4 different pairs of numbers right here. So we've got this pair right here, followed by these 3 pairs. So what that tells us is that they are somehow related, and the first in each of the pairs is describing the x-axis or the horizontal axis. The second number in each of the pairs is describing the y-axis or the vertical axis. So let's change these pixel values to percentage values. So we said that our screen width is 1920 pixels and that the first value is the x value or the horizontal value. So we are pretty sure that if we change this to 100%, we should still have the same effect. So let's do that right now, and indeed it stays the same. We can also do the same thing right here, so we can say 100% and it'll remain the same. And here we can continue by adding 0% to each of the 0 values, because basically it's not going to change anything. 0 is still a 0, either being a percentage or anything else. So we are one step closer to solving this puzzle. Now we've got the 583 here, and let's think about this a bit. Okay, basically the complete height of our Jumbotron is 650 pixels, right? The only thing that is 583 pixels tall can either be this axis right here or this one right here. Now when we compare these two numbers, the first number is 583 pixels and the second number is 420 pixels. So we can be sure that the 583 pixels being greater than the second number must be this value right here. And to confirm that, let's change it to 650. Since we know that our Jumbotron is 650 pixels tall, this shouldn't really change anything, except for covering the full height of our Jumbotron. So that number 583 pixels was actually just the height of this left edge of our Jumbotron container. According to same analogy, the 420 pixels will be the height of this side here. So we can start immediately by changing this to 100% and this second one to, let's say, 70%. and now we've changed all our pixel values to percentages. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is to know and understand how to change values inside DevTools. So the easiest and the best way to work with percentages is, of course, you first need to click inside the clip path values. And now when you click, let's say, on the left of a 0, you've got this blinking cursor right here, which means Chrome DevTools is ready for you to change the value that is right here. And the fastest and the easiest way to do that is to press the Shift key on your keyboard and press, in this case, the up arrow. And now we can increment by tens our percentages all the way up to 100. And this way you can see that the 100% for the x-axis is right here. So that reveals the clipping path. So on this line right here, for our Jumbotron, it's going to cover with a clipping path everything 100% of the x-axis and 0% of the y-axis. So what will happen if I go 10% right here? You'll see that now the y-axis is moving there also. So if I press the Shift key and the up key after it, we'll see it getting smaller and smaller, until, of course, if I go 100%, it'll be completely invisible. So this one specifies the first clipping path point, and that's why when we go 0 here and 0 here, what we're saying essentially is, starting from this point right here, don't apply the clipping path to anything, don't use it. So what's going to happen here if we start with 0 and increase it by 10, we can see that this one right here will go all the way up to 100, still on the x-axis. So you can see how we can make it kind of move left and right. That's what we're doing right here. Okay, and now 100% of the y-axis, let's make it smaller by pressing the Shift and the down arrow. And we can see that if we keep doing it, we'll eventually get to a place where we can't see anything. So what I encourage you to do is just play around with these clipping path percentages, and better than actually understanding the complete dynamics of how this thing works, you'll just simply understand intuitively what's happening when you change these values, and this effectively will result in you understanding how to apply clip path, how to use it, and how it works. That's why I wanted to start with pixel values and then later on change it to percentages, so you can see this change and you can see how much easier and how much nicer it is to work with percentages and to try to understand the behavior of this CSS property. Okay, so that's basically it for this video, and in the next one we'll continue working with our second layout.